And if you ever felt like you needed more friends, become a flight attendant, because you're gonna have a whole lot of. Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Taryn, also known on all my platforms as Taryn on the Journey. If you are new, welcome, and if you are not new, welcome back. Hey y'all, let's get it popping. I have a little something to talk about today. I'm excited about this video because this discussion has already went viral. I did a video. If you have not already seen it, go check it out on Instagram, and the topic just blew up. Like, so many people were commenting. It was something exciting, and clearly it's something that a lot of people have an issue navigating. So I want to talk about this today with y'all. So let's get into the video. Okay, so today we're going to talk about work culture. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes because I don't want to ramble. I want to get straight to the point because, you know, your girl can get all over the place. But anyway, I want to talk about work culture because I feel like it's important, and especially when you get into a career in aviation, it can be something difficult to navigate because you don't know what to expect. You come into this open-minded, and until you have these experiences, you may not know how to handle them. So maybe if you watch this video, I can give you a heads up, and then you will kind of know how to prepare yourself. I say work culture is very important in aviation because you have a plethora of different people from all different places. It's very diverse, and you know, you just never know what type of person you're gonna be working with. You never knew, you just don't know. Like, every experience, every day is gonna be different. I think knowing the type of work environment you are in is important. It can be helpful so that you kind of can prepare for it. Like, I hear different things about every airline. So for me, again, I can only speak from my experiences in the airline that I currently work for, but I've heard other things, so I may speak to them a little bit about the other airlines, but I'm not going to do a deep dive and say too much about it because I'm not sure. And honestly, I have not had those experiences. I've only gotten those experiences and heard those things from my friends that work for them. So I'm not gonna say too much, but I will touch on it a little bit. So work culture to me is basically, and I'm looking at a definition that I wrote down, it's like the beliefs and behaviors in the work environment. So basically how the company operates, how the employees get along, how they operate, things that happen throughout the day in that work environment. So I feel like as a regional flight attendant, our work culture is kind of family oriented. And if you are a regional flight attendant, comment below what y'all think, if y'all agree or disagree with me. But this is just my personal experience and my opinion. But I feel like we are very family oriented because it's a smaller group of people. We spend a lot of time together. Our trips tend to be a lot longer than the main lines, and we just spend a lot of time together. And because it's so, like, it's only a small group of us, we hang out, we spend time together daily on our trips. And I don't know, it's just what it is. I don't know if, you know, it's not as many people working for the airline, so you might see those faces a little more often than you see them if you were working for mainline. But that's what it is. And I actually like the family. Like, I like the feeling of family because I feel like I'm working with people that are actually concerned about me and they care about my well-being. I came from a job that was kind of the same way. So the people that I work with were kind of like my family. I moved out here where I live for work in North Carolina, and I didn't have any other family around me. So, you know, they looked out for me. When I had issues with my car and stuff like that, I could actually use the company car because I knew them. They knew I would take care of it. And again, they were concerned about my well-being and me getting to work. So I feel like that was a family oriented work environment as well. So coming into this job, I appreciate the same thing because I feel like I'm working with friends or family, people that really care about me. I recently had an experience and I really appreciate this. And when I got sick, when I was in Lexington, Kentucky, and my supervisor reached out to me through my mom, and she kept in touch through my process of getting better and just making sure I had everything I needed to come home and stuff like that. I really appreciated that, and that's something that I'm never gonna forget. I've had really good experiences when it comes to supervisors and managers. Of course, there are a few that people don't get along with, but I can only speak to the experience that I've had. I've had really good experiences when it comes to managers. And I think that comes from them being flight attendants, them working in this environment, in this type of work culture. And so when they get in management, they extend that same type of, I don't know what words to use, but they extend that same thing down to the flight attendants once they get into management. So I really appreciate that about my little regional airline, because some of these people really don't give a crap about you, and that's just what it is. So I will talk about making friends in the regional environment, and I have made a good bit of friends, not a whole lot, but a few people that I have met along the way that I definitely will refer to as friends. If you watch my channel, you've seen that I've taken a few trips with people, and those are people that I met working. Those are not people that I knew beforehand. And I'm really grateful for those relationships, because you know, when you become an adult, you may not have the opportunity to meet friends as much as you would like. And normally when you start a job and you start working, that's where you create your relationships. And so when you become a flight attendant, you have way more opportunities to create those in relationships, because you meet new people almost every day. Like, I literally meet somebody new every day working, and I'm not just talking about passengers. I'm talking about co-workers. Like, you really never work with the same people. So you may work with somebody and you just hit it off. Like, recently I worked with someone and we really vibed. Like, it was a vibe. People that a few of my subscribers, we have not worked together, but just meeting them, like, I know that we probably would hit it off because we just click. And so you have those opportunities to meet those people, and you'll probably befriend them. Now, not everyone you gonna get along with. Somebody you just might be cordial, may be able to work with and get along with, but then you gonna have your select few that you really become friends with. And so you just gotta kind of know how to handle that in this environment, because it can be a lot. Like, it can be a lot. So, but every airline is not like that. Every airline is not like that. Like, some people I hear, like, they don't get along with the other flight attendants at all, because again, people come from different backgrounds, but they may not like how you do your job. They may not like how you look. Like, it's just all different things. But for the most part, I'm gonna try to stick speaking about regional, because that's really all I know. For the most part, the people that I work with, I normally hit it off. You might get every once in a while, I'm just working with somebody that we really don't click like that. But when you work in this environment, and the fact that you can make friends like that, you just gotta set boundaries, because people get comfortable and then, you know, they get relaxed, and you have to remember, like, you're working. You're still working. Even though we may be friends, we're still working. So it just depends on the type of person you are and how you decide to handle and set boundaries with people that you may make friends with. But the opportunities is definitely going to present themselves. And if you ever felt like you needed more friends, become a flight attendant, because you're going to have a whole lot of them. So when you become a flight attendant, there's really no direct supervision. You will have a manager, a supervisor, but there's really no one that is over you, standing over you, making sure you do everything that you need to do. And I appreciate that. I hate being micromanaged, but you also have to make sure that you are responsible. Do I always wake up on time? No, but I try to make sure I get downstairs on time, do what I'm supposed to do my job like I'm supposed to do. And we all can be relaxed. We all get a little lazy sometimes. We don't want to get up in the mornings or get downstairs on time. Might be a few minutes late, but for the most part, you want to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do, because in the regional space, I really haven't ran into anybody that report me for getting downstairs a few minutes late, but like I've heard stories when it comes to mainline, like they will tell on you, and you just want to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do, so you're not putting yourself in a position to get reported, because people will report you. Now in the regional space, I have experienced situations where my friends told me about people reporting them for stuff that happens between the two flight attendants on the plane, like having your phone out or sitting down, or you know, stuff like that. So it's just like you got to be on your toes, because you just never know. And I guess that can happen regional or mainline, but you just want to make sure you be on your P's and Q's, because some flight attendants can be a little petty and they will tell on you, and then you're gonna get in trouble, and then you're gonna feel some type of way. But I would say my advice, just learn who you're working with. Like follow, I'm not telling you to do things wrong, but I just know how it can be. You get relaxed when you start working with somebody at the period of time. But what I do is I just learn who I'm working with. Like everything is not gonna work with everybody that you work with, so you got to learn how to adjust. So if this person don't like you to say your announcement early, don't say your announcement early, because they may be following things right by the book, and you might be like, well, I'm just being, you know, I'm just getting it out of the way, but that may throw them off, because some people use announcements as cues. In the regional space where I work, we use announcements as cues. When you do certain announcements, it means it's time to close the door. It's time for them to come up to the front. So that can throw some people off. It doesn't bother me, but a senior mama, it may bother her, because she's used to doing everything exactly the way they say do it. So you just got to learn the person who you're working with. That'll take me into the next thing, about talking about crews and just learning how they operate. I worked with a captain recently. As soon as he got on the plane, he was like, look, I'm pretty overprotective when it comes to my flight attendants, and I know everyone doesn't like this, but I want to let you know that this is how I am. So if you step off of the aircraft, let me know before you leave, so I can kind of be accountable for where you are, and I can know like if something happens. And I can't do anything but respect that personally, because I like for my captains and my pilots to be concerned of my well-being and be concerned about me, because some of them, they will not care. They don't care. Like they will leave you if you late for the van, like all types of stuff. So when a captain come at me like that, I'ma respect it. I don't have no problem with it. I know for some people that could be a little bit overwhelming, overbearing, like you so used to just doing and being free willy with doing what you want to do, so you may not feel like you have to report. But like you got to learn how to adjust with each crew. Regional, again, I feel like we are very family oriented, so we tend to stick together a lot, and some people don't like that. Every now and again I'll get a flight attendant that wants to be isolated from the group, and they want to be on their phone. They always got their headphones in. But again, that's where learning who you working with, just being observative of the type of person they are. They may not be a talker in the morning. I know I'm not. I don't really want to do all that talking on the van in the morning. Leave me alone, sis. But I'll say good morning. I'm not gonna be rude, but when we get in the van, I'm probably most likely gonna have my headphones in, and I might be vlogging or something, just because I'm just trying to get ready for the day. But everybody is different, and if you're not used to that, you won't know how to handle it. You may not know how to handle, you know, all the talking in the morning, but you could just say good morning and keep it pushing. You don't have to necessarily engage in a conversation. But again, regional, we are very close knit. We don't really do all the standoff stuff. So when you see that and you come from another airline or whatever, you know, you get with it, or you don't have to get with it. It's up to you. So I want to hit on the senior mama, senior daddy thing. Like, y'all, when I tell you, Aviation runs off seniority, and that's just what it is. Your age does not matter. How you look does not matter. Like, none of that matters. It runs off of seniority. So I think what happens a lot of times is people come into the job not understanding that, and it's tough at first, but I'm telling you, you will learn how to adjust. If you are new and you are older than the other flight attendant you may be working with, and although you may be old enough to be my mother, you still may need to brush up on some things, or there may be something that, you know, needs to be corrected per se. And I really don't like correcting people. I like to give people space to do their job, because I like space doing my job. Like, I really don't need anyone to tell me what to do, but I don't mind if there's something that you see me messing up on. Okay, I think for me it's all about delivery. And I know that, again, in the space, people don't know how to receive that, because they think, girl, I'm old enough to be your mama. Like, you can't tell me what to do. But at the same time, I'm more senior than you. I've been here longer than you. I've been doing this a little bit longer than you. I know how the work culture is. I know how we operate. So if I see you doing something, I probably won't say anything. That's just me. I may not say anything. It just depends on what it is. Now, if you invaded my space, if you telling me what to do, if you trying to correct me on something that I know that's wrong, I'm gonna tell you. And that just takes me into, like, you have to learn how to stand up for yourself. That's what it is. Because even with the senior people, like, or junior people, you have to learn how to stand up for yourself. This job is definitely going to teach you how to be a little passive aggressive, and I know that's not necessarily a good thing, but you got to learn how to put your foot down, because people are going to get beside themselves sometimes on how they speak to you. Again, there is no direct management, so, like, or supervision, so really it's you and the other flight attendant and the pilots looking out for each other, and that may correct each other. I've had pilots correct me before on something that I've said. I've had flight attendants do the same thing. So it just depends on the situation, and you just want to learn how to handle those things when they come about. So I definitely say be professional, but make sure that you tell them like it is. Like, be professional, but let them know how you feel, or let them give a good response so that you can stand up for yourself, because I'm telling you, it gets a little crazy around these parts. But yeah, for the most part, when people come in, they respect the seniority, but sometimes you get some every now and again that they like, look, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I don't care where you were. And y'all remember when in a few vlogs back, I want to say last year sometime, I was having issues with senior mamas making me work the back the whole trip and stuff like that. And I mean, I would never do that to anybody, because the back can be a lot for some people. And actually, the crazy part about it is, now I prefer to work the back, because I like being out the way. I like being out the way. I'd rather do my service, so it keep me busy. I feel like with working first class, it's only a little bit of people, so I tend to get bored, and I just want to be able to stay busy, so I actually prefer working the back. And it also gives me an opportunity to kind of talk with people, like be a little bit more customer facing than working the front. I feel like the people in first class be like, give me my food and my drink and leave me alone. But like, when you work in the back, they want to talk. Like, you got to go sit back there in the back in your jump seat. They gonna have conversations. It just depends on who it is. And I just want to say again that, you know, when you are working in aviation, you work with a lot of people. You work with people from very diverse backgrounds, so you just want to be respectful and be professional. There's just certain conversations I don't have while I'm at work, and I'm not going to talk about certain personal things. And I know how it can be. You working with people for a certain amount of days, and you know, you feel like, okay, now this is my friend, but you got to remember that you're working together. And I don't know how other people's work culture is when it comes to that, if they really get into deep conversation on the line, standing in the galley. But I know how it can get with regional, and they gets down with the conversation. Trust me, I know about people that's married, how many kids they got, like stuff they got going on with their husband and their mama. And sometimes I'll just be like, girl, I don't need to know all that, but that's just how it is. Like, we are really just close knit, and sometimes they don't feel like sharing. I mean, sometimes they feel like sharing, oversharing sometimes, but it's just what it is. And you working with, like I said, people of all different backgrounds, so you just want to be mindful of those conversations and what you talk about, because you don't want to offend anyone. You got to work with them. You just never know. I'm telling y'all, like, I might have to come on here and start telling some of my stories, because I definitely be having some stories. I just don't like to necessarily tell certain stuff because I don't want to offend anybody, and people recognize me, and I don't want to be like, girl, I don't want it to be like, girl, I saw you talking about me on YouTube. So I know some stuff I just keep to myself. But like, yeah, I definitely have had some crazy story time standing up in the galley or doing our little breaks and stuff like that. But I don't want to ramble. I don't want to make this video too long. I just really wanted to touch on work culture. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. And just to kind of close this video out, I have heard about other airlines and like how they separate. I've seen when I went on trips with my friend that works for mainline, I've seen how they separate the pilots from the flight attendants. And I've heard that that's because like the wives voted for them to be separated. And I don't know, to me that's a little weird, because I don't think that they should necessarily be separated, because like, what if something happens? I don't know. It's just so weird to me. But like, or I know from my training class, we were pretty close knit, and a lot of us still keep in touch. I don't know if it's like that. I'm sure it is like that for them too, but I don't know how the work culture is for them on the line and how they get along and stuff like that. But all I can speak from is my regional experience, and like I said, this is our work culture. But y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. Like, do y'all agree with anything I said or disagree? Let me know what your experience has been, because I think this is something that a lot of people deal with coming into the job and really not knowing how to handle these experiences. But I hope you enjoyed the video today. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. And once again, if you've made it to this point in the video and you don't necessarily have anything to say with me, just leave an airplane emoji in the comments so that I know that you watched the video at least to this point. I appreciate y'all again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.